Today, this is the second class on the concept of time. Let's discuss what we discussed in the last class. We discussed that there were three terms which we introduced. One was the departure time, which means the starting time of the journey, which will be referred to as dt or st sometimes. Okay, generally we're going to refer to it as dt. Sometimes we will refer to it as st or the starting time also. Arrival time is at or ET. ET stands for ending time, arrival time and ending time. Sometimes we will refer to this, in case of journeys, we'll refer to this as arrival time, but in case of a movie starting and ending, we will use ST and ET. Okay, this is the time when the journey or when the movie or when any such thing ends. Duration of the journey meaning the journey time. We will be referring to this as journey time in case of journeys, but in case of a movie starting and ending, we'll say the duration of the journey. Okay, a lesson starting and ending, we'll refer to it as duration. Okay, the formula which we learned last time was arrival time equals to departure time plus the journey time. This is the basic formula which you need to learn. Now, with the help of this formula, you can derive the rest of the two formulas. Departure time will be arrival time minus the journey time, and journey time is arrival time minus the departure time. So basically, you need to learn this formula, and then with the help of this formula, you can derive departure time. Journey time shifts to this side with a negative sign, and for journey time, departure time shifts to the side with a negative sign. So learn this formula for solving these questions. Okay, in the last video, I did this question completely. So if you haven't gone through it, just go through it because it's really, really important to understand this concept. Starting with the first word problem, you're going to start writing down the data first. Okay, let's read the question. It says a train left the station at 8:35. This is the departure time given to us. Arrived at its destination at 3:12 p.m. How long did the journey take? You're supposed to write down, find out the journey time or the duration of the journey. Okay, first of all, as I told you that arrival time and departure time should be in 24-hour clock notation, not in 12-hour clock notation for solving questions. With the help of the formula, arrival time equals to departure time plus the journey time. Okay, or for using any of those three formulas, it's a good idea to change the timings given to us in 24-hour clock notation. Okay, let's write down the data. The departure time is given to us. It's 8:35 a.m. If we change it to 24-hour clock, it will remain the same. Arrival time given to us in this question is 3:12 p.m. Okay, so it's going to be when you add when you convert it to 24-hour clock notation, simply what you're supposed to do is add 12 hours to this hours column. Okay, so 12 plus 3 is 15. It will be 15:12. Okay, now we start doing the question. We're supposed to find out the journey time. Formula for journey time is arrival time minus the departure time. We're going to write down the arrival time on the top, departure time underneath, subtract the two to get the journey time. Okay. Arrival time given to us in the question is 15:12. Departure time is 8:35. We're going to subtract the two. Okay. So when we're going to subtract 35 minutes from 12 minutes, this is not possible. We won't be able to subtract 35 minutes from 12 minutes. So we need to borrow 1 hour from the hours column. Okay, so we're going to borrow 1 hour from the hours column. There are 15 hours here. When we subtract 1 hour from here, 14 hours will be left here. 1 hour, when it goes on to the minutes column, it becomes 60 minutes. 60 plus 12 gives you 72 minutes. 72 minus 35 is actually 37 minutes. And 14 minus 8 is 6. So you can write that the journey time is 6 hours, 37 minutes. This is the first question. Now we move on to the second question. It says an overnight train left at 12:55 on a journey that took 9 hours and 18 minutes. Given that the train departed on a Monday, find the day and time at which it arrived at its destination. You're supposed to find the arrival time. Okay, let's write down the data. The departure time is given to us, which is 21:55. Journey time is given to us, which is 9 hours and 18 minutes. Okay, you're supposed to find out the arrival time for this question. Arrival time, the formula is departure time plus the journey time. Remember, we discussed that whenever we add the departure time and the journey time, and the arrival time comes out to be more than 24 hours. This is an indication that the new day has started. So let's start solving the question. The departure time and the journey time, we'll write hours here, minutes here. We will add up the two, we get the arrival time. Departure time is 21:55. The journey time is 9 hours and 18 minutes. We are supposed to add them up together to get the arrival time. Let's see, 55 plus 18 is going to be 73 minutes. Okay, we know that 73 minutes is actually 1 hour and 13 minutes, because 1 hour is 60 minutes. So if you subtract 1 hour from 73, you'll be left with 13 minutes. So it'll be 1 hour and 13 minutes. So instead of writing 73 here, I'm writing 13 here, and I'm shifting this 1 hour in the hours column. Now, previously it was 21 hours. 21 plus 1 is 22. 22 plus 9. Okay, it's 31, 13. Okay, if you notice that the arrival time has turned out to be more than 24, that means the next day has started. Now, in order to change it to the 24-hour clock time on the next day, what you will do in this case, you know it's the next day, but what was the time the next day? In order to find that out, you will have to subtract 24 hours from the arrival time. Okay, it's 7:13. The train arrived at 7:13 the next day. Okay, so the answer will be the train arrived at 7:13 the next day. The next day will be a Monday, because the departure was on Monday, so the next day will be on Tuesday. The train arrived at 7:13 on Tuesday. This will be the answer. Okay, we move on to the next question. It says a car arrived at a town at 15:06. Okay, they have given us the arrival time. After traveling for whole 1/4 hours, I did discuss that 1/4 hours is actually 15 minutes. Okay, so because when we changed from hours to minutes, we have to multiply the number by 60. So it's a fraction 1/4. We multiplied by 60. We simplified and we get 15 minutes. So 4 whole 1/4 hours will be 4 hours and 15 minutes. Find the time the car started the journey. We're supposed to find out the departure time in this case. Okay, let's write down the data. Arrival time is given to us as 15:06. Okay, the journey time is 4 hours and 15 minutes. You're supposed to find out the departure time. The formula for departure time is arrival time minus the journey time. Okay, we'll write hours here, minutes here. Arrival time on the top, journey time underneath. Subtract the two, you get the departure time. Arrival time is 15:06. Journey time is 4 hours and 15 minutes. We're supposed to subtract now. Look here, 15 minutes you cannot subtract from 6 minutes. You need to borrow 1 hour from the hours column. Okay, if you notice there are 15 hours here, you give 1 hour to the minutes column, you are left with 14 hours. 1 hour when it comes to the minutes column, it will become 60 minutes. Previously you had 6 minutes already here. So now you have 66 minutes. 66 minus 15 is 51. 14 minus 4 hours is 10 hours. Okay, so the car started its journey. The answer will be the car started its journey at 10:51. This will be the answer. Okay, moving on with the next question. According to a timetable, a coach was due to leave a station at 22:55 and arrive at its destination at 6:05 the next day. Find the time taken for the journey. Okay, you're supposed to find out the duration for the journey. Journey time is actually arrival time minus the departure time. Okay, so we're going to write hours here, minutes here, arrival time here, departure time underneath. Subtract the two to get the journey time. Okay, arrival time is 6 are 6:05 the next day. Now, as we discussed this before, 6:05 the next day. Okay, since this is 6:05 the next day, if you write 6:05 here and you write the departure time underneath, we will not be able to subtract 22 hours from 6 hours. Obviously, minutes you can subtract, you can borrow 1 hour from the hours column, you will be left with 5 hours here. From 5 hours, you cannot subtract 22 hours. So what you should do initially is that once you know that the arrival is the next day, from the arrival time given to you, you add 24 hours to it because the next day has started. Okay, so you add 24 hours to this and you'll get 30:05. So instead of writing 6 here, we'll write 30. Okay, let's start solving. 55 minutes, you cannot subtract from 5 minutes. So you will have to borrow 1 hour from the hours column. This will be 29 hours left here. 29 hours left here. Okay, so 1 hour at which, when it comes from the hours column, it will be 60. 60 plus 5 is 65. 65 minus gives you 10 minutes. 29 minus 22 is 7. Okay, so the journey time or the time taken for the journey, answer for the first part is the time taken for the journey is 7 hours and 10 minutes. Okay, then we move on to the second part of the question. They say the time when the coach find the time when the coach reached its destination, given that it reached 35 minutes before schedule. Now the train, if you notice, was scheduled to arrive at its destination at 6:05 the next day. It arrived 35 minutes earlier. So we need to subtract 35 minutes from the arrival time, which was the scheduled arrival time. Okay, so we'll subtract from 6 hours 5 minutes. We have to subtract 35 minutes from this. The method will remain the same. This is hours, this is minutes. You can do this mentally also. You cannot subtract, you borrow it from here, it'll become 5 here, 60 here, 65 overall, minus 35 gives you 30. So 5 hours 30 minutes. Okay, so the answer for the second part, you can write it in the form of a statement. The coach will arrive at 5:30 if it reached 35 minutes before the scheduled arrival time. Okay, now this is another question where you're supposed to find out the schedule of the arrival. You're supposed to find out the journey times. Okay, I'm just going to do 2 parts out of this. The schedule of the arrival and departure time of a long distance express overnight coach is shown below. Okay, and then you're supposed to find out, if you notice, look at the table. They're giving you the departure time 21:30. It's started from town A and it arrived at town B at 22:15. Then it's departed from here, or it started its journey from town B at 22:30 and it arrived at 22:25. Okay, after 5 minutes, it again started its journey towards town B. So this is the table given to us. Let's do just 2 parts out of this. I'm just going to do 2 parts. Let's do say B to E and the last part. Okay, now in the B part, it says time taken for the coach to travel from B to E. Okay, from B you take the departure time. Okay, departure time from B, if you notice here, is it started its journey from B at 22:30. Okay, so I'm going to write 22:30 as the departure time from B. Okay, arrival time at E is going to be 7:50. Okay, it's going to arrive at E at 7:50. So I'm going to write here arrival time at E is 7:50. Okay, in order to find out the journey time, the formula says arrival time minus the departure time. Okay, so arrival time on the top, departure time underneath. We're going to subtract the 2 to get the departure time. Sorry, the journey time. Arrival time is 7:50. Departure time is 22:30. Let's subtract the two. 30 minutes from 50 minutes. If you subtract, you get 20 minutes here. Okay. Have you noticed one thing? The arrival time, the time is 7:50 and departure time, the hours is 22 here. You cannot subtract 22 hours from 7 hours. Actually, this is an indication that the new day has started. So what you have to do here is simply add 24 hours to 7 and write it here. 24 plus 7 gives you 31. So instead of writing 7 here, you simply have to add 31. This is because the new day has started. So you can even write it here, plus 24. So the arrival time which you're taking is 31:50. Okay, 31 minus 22 is 9 hours. Okay, so the journey took 9 hours, 20 minutes. Okay, now we do the last part. Okay, A to G. Okay, start departure from A, we will take as 21:30. Okay, so we'll take the departure time to be. Right now we're doing this question, the B part, the E part. Okay, departure from A, we're going to take it as 21:30. Okay, arrival time at G. Okay, notice the arrival time at G is 10:45. You'll take it to be 10:45. Okay, you're supposed to subtract from arrival time, you will subtract the departure time and you will get the journey time. Once again, if you notice the arrival time, the hours is less as compared to the departure time. That means the new day has started. You're going to add 24 to it and you'll be getting 34:45 here. So you will write 34:45 minus the departure time, which is 21:30. Subtract the two. This is hours, this is minutes. 45 minus 30 is 15. 34 minus 21. Okay, the journey took 13 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, after this, we move on to the concept of speed in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much.